MeannaDK checking in once again. And
It's just me and my disciples. Talking to God while we smoke dope. We keep the lighter in our circle.
what up, my supers and stoners? It's MeannaDK checking in once again. I thought I'd give this podcast thing a try, and the best way to do it is to ease my way into it, guys. So this is my first podcast, and I'm doing something kind of different. I'm letting you guys in on what it takes to be me, right? What does it take to make my life run? How am I a single mom and committed to self-work, self-care, and self-love? How do I get it done? We understand that when we are single moms, resources are limited and some things have to take a back seat just naturally. For me, it's generally the things that I use for self-care. So there's definitely no getting my nails and feet done, sometimes no getting my eyebrows arched, and no haircuts. And we all know I love haircuts and my hair is cut. So what did I have to do? I had to figure out a way to do it myself. I'm in the process of learning how to cut my own hair, and I thought I'd share a haircut video with you guys. Now, let's get this out the way. I'm not a barber. I'm not in barber college, and I don't have any intention on paying for barber college. So I am just really in my bathroom trying to make this happen all on my own. A brother of mine gifted me with a pair of Andis outliners, and I had gotten my own pair of wall clippers, and I'm making it happen on my own. Tag your favorite barbers so they can let me know if I'm doing it or not, okay? It is not cute, it's not pretty, it's not perfect, but I like it, and I'm on my way. If you guys have any notes, any comments, or constructive criticism on how I can get better, go ahead and drop that too. Let me know what you guys do in order to make sure that you still get your self-care in even when resources are short. Do you do your own nails? Do you buy your own coffee and make it at home? Anyways, let me know. Don't forget to thumbs up and like and subscribe to this video. You ready? Let's go. All right, y'all. So clearly I saved you to putting on the cape and all of that. I'm starting with making my first bald line. Okay, and making the bald line is basically at the bottom, you know what part is going to be balded out before you start to fade it. So I learned this from watching my favorite barbers, my favorite YouTube barbers, and my favorite YouTube barbers are 360 Jeezy and Get Beamed. I know that there are a ton of awesome barbers, but those are the ones I watch. Okay, so I set my bald line, as you can see. Definitely having a problem with that fan there. So just getting it straight so that I know where I'm going. I'm not going down. What I struggle with is brushing, but 360 Jeezy and Get Beam, they always talk about making sure that you are brushing the area so that you're not cutting where you shouldn't be cutting or going too deep, too high or whatever, right? So yeah, I'm setting the bald line and just confirming that it is supposed to look like what it looks like. I know that I have a pretty tough cut there because I got that little like mohawk that goes into a V, or as close as to a V as I can get it. You know, but now right here I'm setting my second guideline. Whenever I watch 360 Jeezy, he always talks about making sure you set in the guidelines so that you can get the fade right, you know? So, as I said, I'm not a barber and I don't always know what I'm doing, but I know based on what I see from him, I could do a decent job at it. So like you can see that second line in there, and I am using, the first thing I used was the Andis outliners to create that bald line. And the second thing that I'm using are these wall clippers. And I'm going to create that second guideline. Y'all can see that's done right there. So you can see on both sides, there's both guidelines, okay? So once I do that, I go up a little further and I know that is the one guard, and I know that that's the one guard open. And so what I'm doing is I'm setting a third guideline right there, just so I know not to go any further than that area. Okay, so as you can see, I don't necessarily have the benefit of a ton of mirrors or a ton of lighting, but I'm definitely working with what I got. So you can see right there already 2 levels of shading in my hair. And there I go with the brush again, because again, I do struggle in that area with remembering to brush all the time, right? So, anywho, brushing again. I'm gonna go ahead and get to that next guideline. Is really important. Definitely taking the time out to comb my hair to make sure that once I do start evening it out on the sides, I'm not having a problem with that. Making sure that I don't cut extra lumps in my hair. So right now I went ahead and put on, I tried out a bunch of guards. I always start at the highest guard to make sure that I'm not cutting any excess hair or cutting too much hair off. So I start with the highest guard that I had, which I think was like a 6. And I worked my way all the way down to, I think I finally ended up at like a 2. And as you can see, I'm just going straight up. When I watch 360 Jeezy or Get Beamed, I ain't gonna lie, I'll watch 360 Jeezy a lot more than Get Beamed, because what I learned from 360 Jeezy is mostly how to fade. It's easier watching his channel on how to fade because he makes it easy with the guidelines. Get Beamed, I mean, he's not necessarily, trying to run a tutorial on his page, and his fading technique is different. Jeezy's is a little bit easier for me to grasp. So I'm going straight up. You see, I'm using a 2 right there, and I'm just trying to make sure that my sides are straight. You see me, there's still a little mushroom, just a little on that side. So I'm going to hit it again because I want it to be as straight as possible. There's no way to know what I'm looking like in the back. I mean, obviously I'm looking now, but I wasn't able to see before. Now I'm going right here with the no guard, lever all the way open, and I'm attacking that second guideline. Remember, that first guideline was the balding guideline, and I used the Andes outliners or edgers for that. Andes outliners, yes. But now, as I'm working on that second line, I use the clippers with the 0 guard. No, not the 0 guard, the 1 open, because I don't have, well, no, I have a 0. I don't have a half guard. So I use that 1, right? So the thing about knocking that line out is that you're gonna have to go up and down with the clippers. You're gonna have to go from open to close to open to close just to get the right look. And right here is where you have to have patience, because knocking down that line is pretty tough. You have to really know how to see what you're trying to see. And what I mean when I say that is, like, everything starts looking alike at some point, right? So you have to go in, flick at it a little bit. Jeezy always talks about using that flicking motion. It's a flick out motion. Get Beamed has a similar motion. Now I ain't gonna lie to y'all, like, my motion ain't like theirs. I kind of go in a circle. I don't know, it's not proper, but it's, what works for me. So I go in a circle. I do always use just the corner of the blade, because that's one thing that they both talk about, is just using the corner of the blade, because what you don't want to do is create a whole other guideline, right? So you use the corner so you can get the in-between hairs. The in-between hairs is what cause that fade to come in like it needs to come in, right? So you can see that what I'm doing, like, it almost looks like flicking, but it almost looks like going in a circle. I'm doing the best I can, right? I'm not that coordinated, but I do have a will to get the things done that I need to get done, right? So for those of you who cut your own hair, please understand, I cannot play drums. I do not play the piano, which means I cannot do one thing with my right hand while my left hand is doing something else while I'm looking at both hands. That ain't my shit, right? As you can see, I'm done with the cape, because see, I got the fan on, it's hot. And the cape kept blowing the fan, so we getting rid of that. So as you can see, that other line is like sort of not going away a little bit at a time. So I'm back at it. I'm back with the flicking motion, and my little, like, baby circles or whatnot, and you can see how that thing is coming out, right? So I do have to spend a lot of time. I am going back to the lever being open, as you can see, just going straight up and down. It's important that you don't dig in. When you dig in, you have the, you might create another guideline because you're going too hard in the paint, right? Y'all see my elephant? It's not done yet, but you know, I like it. So as I'm knocking that first line out, definitely brushing. Y'all can see how it looked right there. And once I knock that first line out, I'm gonna be moving on to try to set that second line. And I also have to knock out that very, very bottom bald line. You have to knock out that bald line because you don't want it to be such a tough transition for the eye, right? And that's one thing I'm noticing as well. Oh, there I am getting off those hairs that are close to the point. I haven't really worked out yet how to get to that point at the back of my head because I can't never really see good. Y'all see that? I can't really see good. So that's not really necessarily a straight line, right? I'm just kind of like faking it till I make it right here, y'all. Just faking it till I make it. But I do know I don't want to be looking crazy because I represent my children out here in these streets. When I go out here in these streets and somebody sees MeannaDK, like I'm also representing Kimia, Kyla, and Kara, you know? If their mom looks great, then that's great. But if their mom is looking crazy, then someone will be able to tell them, I seen your mom and she was looking crazy. Right? So I'm going to make sure. Okay, getting back. I just went over here and got to the other side. On the other side is, I'm doing the same thing. Just knocking out that second line. Right? And the most important thing is detailed work. That is the most important thing when dealing with these haircuts. You have to continue to try. You have to go back, look again, go back, look again. Like one thing I always used to see on Jeezy's page is he used to say, make sure you take some time, look away from your client, look at something else, have your eyes focus on something else, so that when you come back and look at your client, you'll be looking at your client with fresh eyes. I found that to be true for myself as well. I found that when I am looking and trying to see what I'm doing, as long as I look away or look down or something like that, you know, I can get to where I'm getting to. So you can see how that's coming out in the mirror right there. You see how it's not necessarily coming to a point. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'm working on it, and it's going to be like that until, you know, it's not like that. Right? So I'm doing a little bit more detail work right now, just making sure the clippers are not clogged with any hair or anything like that. You know, still on that second side, trying to get it to look like the first side. You know, it's always been my dream. That was so extra. Since I've been cutting hair, right? Because there was a while back, I used to cut my brother's hair. I used to cut my husband's hair. God rest his soul. And I really enjoy it, right? I enjoy cutting hair, but who has the type of resources to go to barber college, you know? I would love to cut the kids in the hair in the neighborhood. I would love to cut their hair for free. I would love to make sure that none of these children are going to school and they're feeling like less than just because the resources are not available for them to get a haircut as often as they need one, right? So I would love to do that for my community, but you can't do that if you're not licensed or you don't have a certificate or something, because you can't be playing around with people's heads, you know? So anyway, but I do love it. It is very therapeutic for me, you know. And soon here, my daughter is going to be trying to cut her hair, not all the way off, but low, like mine. Maybe not bald or anything like that, but maybe the same length all the way around. And she's going to want designs or, you know, however that goes. And, you know, I got to get better, because then that's two types of haircuts, you know. And why, you know, spend those resources if I can get it done? Look at that. You see how that's coming out right there? That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too shabby. That's all I'm saying. It ain't too shabby, right? So now I have the guard on, and I'm going down just to knock that bulk off. You see right there, I haven't done that side, but you see right there how it's light and then medium and then dark at the top. But the transition is tough on the eye. So I'm using that guard right there so that the transition is not so tough on the eye, right? We want to make sure that it looks as smooth as possible, right? So I also want to make sure that I'm not cutting off any of the hair that's supposed to be there, that belongs at the top, but just may not be brushed down into where it's supposed to be. So that's why you saw me just brush it right there to make sure that I have everything where it's supposed to be. Yes, my technique is unconventional. Putting my hand right there as sort of like a guard. It's unconventional, but guys, listen, it's what works for me. You know, it may not work for the next person, and I get it. However, for MeannaDK, it's what works, right? So as I'm finishing up on that side, and not really finishing up, but getting the bulk done over there, I'm gonna get back over to the other side so I can get that done too. So obviously this video is sped up because heaven forbid you guys had to sit through this whole thing. It definitely took me over an hour to get the haircut done. I enjoyed it though. Like I said, it looks like it's art, and I'm not very creative. This is one of the only spaces that I can show any type of a creative niche, if that makes any sense. When I cut other people's hair, like, it makes me feel great. There's a friend of mine whose hair that I cut most of the time whenever they need it, and I love it because it offers me an opportunity to see what I can create on another person's head, right? So as you can see, I'm back over to the original side that I started on, just back over here, and just trying to knock out that weight line that we were working on a little earlier. I noticed that everything wasn't knocked out, and I wanted to get that knocked out. And I'm definitely going to start on that bottom weight line as well. So as you can see, I know it looks like I'm digging, but I promise you I'm not digging. I'm just trying to make sure I knock off those little in-between hairs. So as you can see, there's that little piece right there that I'm trying to avoid because I think I gashed it last time, you know, went in a little too deep, wasn't supposed to go that deep, went, you know, and, you know, kind of waiting for the hair to grow out to perfect that mistake. But it's okay. It's okay. It's a part of learning. It's a part of making it go. So as you can see, I'm going in my little, like, faulty circles. My little faulty circles trying to make that shit happen, right? I definitely should have been smoking, but, you know, I didn't. I was just trying to focus and get that shit done. But you see how I'm trying to fade that line in and make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Make sure that the short lines are where they're supposed to be, and the long. And when I say short lines, I'm just talking about like the shortcuts. You see right there where there's a little bit hanging over. That's what I'll be thinking, like is a little shortcut. I'm pointing to it right there. So I'm just trying to get that part together, right? And I believe that when I get that part together, the other stuff, you know, will pretty much fall into place. So you can see, just doing a little bit more detailed work. Can't forget to brush. Can't forget to brush, because I already know, you know. I already know. So getting that brushing done, and, you know, just taking some time to look at it to see what exactly I need to work on, what detailed work I need to work on right here. You can see it. The fade is coming along pretty decent. Probably could have been more in the camera right there, but, you know, I guess y'all have to see my mug. Yeah, so the fade is coming along it's decent, you know. It's definitely not great, but it's decent. I definitely have a lot to learn, but it's decent, you know. Trying to get that done. I still see a little bit of a weight line right there. Shit, I'm looking in the mirror right now just to see if I got it or not. Well, my hair has obviously grown out a little bit since I cut my hair. It's been a few days, but I'm just trying to see, like, you see what I'm doing? Just trying to see how much of that I still need to get. How much of it looks knocked off versus, you know, the other side. Definitely see my color is 2 or 3 or 4 toned. I'm okay with that, though. I enjoy that. You know. So I was talking to my homegirl at the time. You know, my homegirl was over, and I'm like, man, I'm just going to cut my hair. My homegirl is like, well, damn, you going to cut it while I'm here? Like, yeah, the mood just struck me. Okay, now it's time to do my favorite part. This is really my favorite part of cutting hair. I love lining. I love making sure the line is as crispy as can be. Now, this is the part where I tend to tune in to Get Beamed, right? Get Beamed, he does like the enhancements. So he'll line it up and then he'll like make it crispy. Like, and Jeezy does that too. But I'm more inclined to believe that Jeezy does that when they ask for it, as opposed to doing it as the norm. I don't know if Beamed is like that, but a lot of Beamed videos have the enhancements. And basically what it does is it takes your lineup and makes it more crispy, because he's spraying a little bit of the color enhancement just at the corners, just a little bit, so that it make your line pop, right? And I love watching that, because I mean, it's really like art, right? So just taking the time to line myself and see what I can do. I try not to spend too much time on it, but when I'm doing it, like, I'm really doing it. I'm really focusing, making sure I don't push my lines back. That's so important. I don't care if y'all think my lines is like next to my eyelids. The last thing I'm gonna do is push my line back. You understand what I'm saying? So right here, like I said, I'm just lining and trying to make sure it's nice and crispy on the sides. I don't know what you guys feel. What's your favorite part of the cut? Is it actually the cut itself, or, you know, is it the lineup part? We're pretty much done now, though. I'm pretty much done. I definitely see a little more weight and a little more bulk than I would like, you know, once I start looking at the video. At the time that I did it, I felt good about it. I still feel good about it, guys. This is only like my fourth attempt in a row at cutting my hair. Okay, so we're getting down to the end of the video. If you guys know any barbers, tag them. If you're a barber, tag them. If you just got some critique for me, go ahead. Thank y'all so much for hanging in there with me on this 22 minute video. I appreciate it. I tried to get y'all everything as fast as I could, so I sped that thing up as much as I could, right? Anywho, don't forget to drop a comment down below. Let me know how I can get better. Let me know any comments, any constructive criticisms. Don't forget to tag your favorite barber. Let him know what I'm doing so he can let me know what I need to do to get better. All right, until next time, I'm MeannaDK, and you never know what's going to be in this morning's cup. I love y'all. I swear I do. This is the ending of my video. Oh, thank y'all for watching.